Hi guys, and welcome back to a new week on the channel. We have been to Sainsbury's. However, I did only go for bagels in Philadelphia, so before we get into it, I thought I would go today, even though we don't hardly have any money left on the food shopping budget at all. We probably have gone over now. But I don't know when I'm going to be able to go for the rest of the week due to late shifts and other commitments after work. So I thought I'd just go today. Now, I would have liked a couple of yellow sticker dinners at least. But what happened was I went an hour later than I usually go and they're still not done. So there's yellow sticker stuff in all the right places, but it's only got like 50p off of it. It's not half price. Not on the fruit and veg, not on the bread shelf, although there were some bakery items. So yeah, it's really not good, and it made me panic because I've been there twice and it's been like that now. And I've gone an hour later today in hope of catching the half price meat section, but to no avail. Honestly, if I can't live on yellow stickers, I don't know what I'll do. You know, most of my dinners have yellow stickers on them. But anyway, we went in for bagels, Philadelphia, and rice. And I wanted rice purely because I'd used the last of it for my tuna poke bowl. And I enjoyed it so much, I cannot wait to make another one. And I'm going to be factoring that into my meal plan for the week. So that's why I picked up another bag of basmati. I don't know why I buy basmati, I just always have. And I'm low on Philadelphia, I'm not out of it, but that's still on the Nectar price for the large tub at £2. So bagels, 79, I know that's the same price as Aldi. The basmati rice, 89, and the large pot of Philadelphia at £2. And then I picked up a couple of yellow stickers, not really, well, the strawberries aren't bargains, but they did kind of have almost £1 off. And strawberries are my favourite fruit, and probably the only fruit you've ever really seen me eat on this channel. I'm not a big fruit eater at all. I'm more down the line of, you know, Belgian milk chocolate cookies at half price. And this kind of thing is never usually done this early. And two, not French sticks, because these are the half size sort of batons at 39 and 49p respectively. So they were half price, so they will go straight in the freezer. I might dice them up first, that's what I usually do, so that I could just have a few discs with a meal. I picked up the Listerine, but I'm going to pay myself back for that, because I usually buy my personal items like deodorant and mouthwash, toothpaste, that kind of thing. It's not normally factored into my supermarket shop. I pick up those kind of things from Savers and Boots if I'm doing a scan to recycle. But it was on a Nectar price. I think it was half price at, oh, I can't even read that receipt. Oh, where was it? It should be £5.25 and the saving was £2.60. So yeah, that was a good bargain. And one thing that I never ever see when I go into the supermarket at this time of day is in fact my very first veg box for £2. So all of that for £2. So how do I propose to use some of this stuff when, like I say, I don't really eat fruit? The bananas will probably go black, and I will probably make those into a cake, I should imagine. And then I've got 2 broccoli heads, as you can see, which I'm really, really pleased about, because I'm going to make one of those tuna poke bowls again. I've still got salmon fillets also in the freezer, so I can serve those with these small potatoes and some broccoli. So I'm super happy about that. we've got an awful lot of peppers there. We've got 4 peppers. I'm not particularly too pleased about that because I love them, but they don't love me, and they give me the most awful stomachache. But I think I'm going to roast them and make them into a sauce that I could possibly give to one of my children. We've got 1 orange there, and I've got 1 squashed plum. We've got 2 large onions, 1 large carrot, lots of potatoes. Let's just move this one out of the way so we can see how many apples we've got. We've got 4 apples there. So yeah, I might fancy an apple as I've actually got them in the house. But yeah, it's a shame that peppers don't agree with me at all. They give me horrific pains in my stomach. So yeah, that is a shame, but they're going to go to good use. I think a nice fresh pepper sauce will be appreciated by, yeah, one of the kids for sure. The onions, of course, will just go in the fridge and get used as and when. So yeah, lots of broccoli for dinners this week, which I love. So yeah, really happy with that for £2. Guys, I'm honestly so bowled over with that veg box for £2. So we're going to get to work with some of the contents, mainly the peppers. I'm going to make a pepper sauce, and sadly I will have to give that away because, have I already mentioned, peppers give me a really bad stomachache. I love them, but they don't love me. So yeah, I'm going to roast them in the oven. I'm going to take 1 of the 3 onions which were in the box. It looked like 2, but as I started to take things out, there were 3 large onions, which is fabulous. And look at the amount of potatoes. There was actually loads of potatoes in there. That was really, really good. So yeah, I'm just going to cut these up and roast them. I'm going to fry off 1 of the onions, soften that up, ready for when I kind of whiz it all up with my little handheld blender later on. So you know that saying about skinning a cat? Well, I think it would be easier to skin a cat than get the skin off of those peppers. My goodness, that was hard work. So I had to wash my hands twice and scrub my nails afterwards, all stained. So I've got an onion that has been cooked. I have put a glug of olive oil in, and I've also put a squeeze of tomato puree. So now to get that handheld blender out and see what happens here. I did just dip my finger in. Oh my God, it tastes so good. I've made myself another poke bowl using some of the broccoli from the veg box. So the 2 heads of broccoli that came in the veg box are still going strong. I've got a couple of more days worth of dinners to come from those, that's for sure. I am on to the second one now, which I'm just serving with a fish cake dated 10th of December in the freezer, a yellow sticker bargain, some mashed potato and some peas. And I've got that plate out behind just because I feel it was super interesting what I heard Tanya say on her video this morning over at Living on a State Pension UK about plate sizes, how we eat with our eyes, and if we're using a larger plate we probably feel like we need to fill it up. And I've got 2 size plates. Well, I've actually got 3 different types of plates. I've got a sort of set of plates that my friend gave me that are quite similar to those, with a probably bigger area for food because the lip on the edge isn't quite as big. And then I've got 3 plates like this that have got the round bit in the middle and quite a deep edge on them. And what I tend to do is the smaller dinners I have on the smaller plate, But if I'm cooking, say for example, a roast dinner, where I've done maybe 3 different vegetables and you've got Yorkshire puddings in addition to your meat and potatoes, maybe some stuffing and that kind of thing, I tend to use the bigger plates for dinners like that. Or say when I did the salmon en croûte with the potato gratin and 2 different vegetables, I would probably use a bigger plate. But because it's just a fish cake, which isn't very big, I will use the smaller plate. So yeah, I don't think my portion sizes tend to change that much for me personally. I feel that I just use bigger plates when there's a bigger dinner, really, I guess. But to use a smaller plate, because I know a lot of people that are trying to cut down, they might have their dinner on a dessert plate, for example. So I'm just throwing that in there as a bit of random musings there. Be interested to hear your thoughts on that. Hi guys, we are back in the kitchen using up items from the fruit and veg box, which I picked up in Sainsbury's on Tuesday. Today is Saturday, and I think the bananas, there were 2 bananas in the box, and I think they are now okay for me to make a banana cake. A lot of people call it banana bread or banana loaf, but essentially it's a cake, isn't it? So I've got all of my ingredients out. As you can see, I have sugar, eggs, butter and self-raising flour. Now this recipe, unlike the Victoria sponge where you put everything in at once, this recipe does tell you to cream the butter and sugar together. So I'm not going to go through each painful step on video. So I will just pop back at intervals to let you know what's going on. And I will pop the recipe for this one in the description box below, purely because this is another recipe, again, like the Vicky sponge, that I have been using for years and years. Again, it's a BBC Good Food recipe. I've not made this since I've lived in the house because I don't really buy bananas. So, but it is really delicious. So let's get going. So the basis of this cake, unlike the Victoria sponge, which is 200 grams of pretty much everything, this one is 140. So we've got 140 grams of butter, 140 grams of sugar. I always use granulated. I don't buy caster, even though most recipes call for it, but everything comes out fine, so I just don't feel the need to buy a different kind of sugar and have in the cupboard. So 140 fat, 140 sugar, 140 self-raising flour, and there's also a teaspoon of baking powder in there. And then I've got the 2 eggs, I've beaten those up ready, and the 2 bananas, as you can see, they were going brown. They are sliced up, you can mash them, but I've just sliced mine. So just about to get that flat flour, fat and sugar creamed together. So I've creamed that together. You're supposed to do it till it goes light and fluffy, but at the end of the day, I do it until my arm aches, which is about 60 seconds. No, joking, I've probably got a couple of minutes out of it. And then you're going to add your eggs, and you are going to gradually fold in your flour, just a little bit at a time. So the flour is all folded in, and then all you need to do is to add your 2 bananas and stir those through. You can sort of mash them down a little bit as you're going along, depending on your preference. You might want to mash them beforehand. But I've always thought this is a fabulous way to use up bananas. Kids love it. It's great in lunch boxes. It's great for picnics. And in my previous life, we quite often had bananas that nobody would eat. They were just a little bit too gone because my son used to take pack up to work. So yeah, we always bought fruit. I've never been a massive fruit eater, but other members of the family were. So yeah, we very often had some bananas to make into a cake. So I'm just going to stir those through and then pop it into my lined loaf tin. So I greased the loaf tin before putting that little liner in. Got a box of those, which is the first time I've ever used one, I think. So that goes in the oven, a fan oven 160, for about 50 minutes. But start maybe checking it from about 40 because all ovens do cook differently, don't they? So I will be back to show you the finished product, article, cake, whatever you want to call it. And there we have it, fresh out of the oven. That did take the full 50 minutes. I checked it after 45 and decided to leave it in for another 5 minutes. So that was the full 50 minutes at 160. And now to let that cool down whilst I hoover, do a little bit of ironing, and then I think a well-deserved cup of tea and a slice of cake. Time for tea. As you can see, the banana often goes to the bottom of the cake. I always find that, I suppose because it's heavy, but I love the end bits. They're really sort of crunchy. So I think that has cooled down sufficiently for moi to dive in. I don't know what the time is. I think it's getting on for 3 p.m. So we shall relax now. We've washed the kitchen floor, done some ironing. Well, I've done loads of other jobs this morning, but yeah, I think we're going to head out for some yellow sticker bargains, hopefully, because I haven't been very successful at all of late. We shall see whether I decide to go or not, but I'm going to enjoy this cake. Super simple to make, really delicious. So yeah, let me know if you're going to try it. You're going to think I'm obsessed, and you wouldn't be wrong. So using up some broccoli, again from my fruit and veg box that I got on Tuesday. Probably got 1 portion of broccoli left now. So that's almost 2 broccoli heads gone. Salmon is from a yellow sticker haul that I did the week before last. That was quite fish heavy. And the salmon was in sweet chilli sauce. So that is what I have used to drizzle over the top of today's poke bowl. So we have rice, cucumber, spring onion, broccoli, and salmon fillet. Bon appetit. So fruits from the veg box. I had just 1 orange, 1 plum. I had 5 apples. I've eaten 1. And there is 1 there that I'm just going to chop up. So I'm going to do a bit of a fruit salad. So I've still got 3 apples left, all of the potatoes, 2 large onions and 1 carrot. I've got a few strawberries left from a box that I got with a yellow sticker on in Sainsbury's. So yeah, I'm just going to put together a little fruit salad. I didn't end up putting the apple in, guys. I just feel that that's plenty for me to have for dessert this evening. So yeah, really happy with that. Can't tell you the last time I ate a plum or an orange, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy it. Hi my lovelies, and welcome back. This will be the final update on the veg box and what I've got left and what I'm about to use up today. So I'm on a late shift, so I'm going to boil some potatoes now, ready for when I finish work so that I can just pop them in the microwave. So I haven't touched the potatoes, and you might remember that when I put them into the bag, I said, oh, there is quite a lot of potatoes there, which there is. So yeah, we're going to boil those up today because you can probably see they're just starting to, I think the word is chit. as you know, I'm not a gardener. I've never grown anything, but I think that is the correct wording. I've now got 1 onion left. So there was 3 onions within the box. I have used 2. I didn't take a picture last night, but I used 1 last night with sausage mash, peas, gravy and fried onion, which was delicious. So yeah, 1 onion left, which will just go in the fridge. 2 of the 5 apples left, and all of the potatoes. So all the broccoli has now been eaten from the 2 heads of broccoli. You will have seen the peppers we used to make a pepper sauce. And what else did I do? I've gone brain dead. I made a banana cake with the 2 bananas, didn't I? And a fruit salad with the orange and the plum that I had. So would I buy a veg box again? 100%. I would be a little bit more fussy if there was more than 1 box available. I would prefer to go veg heavy rather than fruit heavy. And I personally would prefer to not have peppers in it, as I've explained. I love them. They don't love me. I would be creased up with stomach cramps and in tears if I eat peppers. So I did dip my finger into the sauce I've made, which is now in the freezer for my son because he's currently on holiday. So he can have that when he gets back. But I was really pleased with it for £2. I mean, those potatoes and the 2 heads of broccoli alone would have been way more than that. Yeah, 3 large onions it was as well. They weren't small. So I was really pleased. I would 100% buy one again. I would definitely say to you guys, keep your eye open for them. I only know that Lidl's do them because I've seen other people mention it on their channels. Mine was from Sainsbury's and it was £2. I believe Lidl's might be £1.50. So yeah, £2 in Sainsbury's, and I did pick it up at tea time. So it wasn't a morning thing, but it was, I believe, the first time I've seen a box at that time of day. So definitely keep your eyes open, definitely get one, and get creative. I will see you soon, guys. Bye-bye.